Hey everybody, Jillian here for Illustrated Faith with a brand new Bible journaling process video. Today I'm going to be doing an entry in Hebrews 10 using Brave Little Taylor's devotional kit, Closer Than Ever, and it is so good. So I'm going to give you a peek here in my Traveler's Notebook at how I worked through it. So this is just a blank TN that I put Taylor's devotional cards in. So this set comes with 4 devotional cards, and look at all of this content that she gives you. So she points you to passages, gives you some questions to answer as you read through them, and then points out some things to us. So this was so great to work through, and you can see these are all like my highlighted notes. Such good stuff in here. She does an amazing job. Then with the devotional content, there are illustrations that match. So you've got these illustrations of the temple veil being torn, the lampstand in the tabernacle. There's patterned paper that coordinates. This is well loved. I went through this and created a page already, so it's already cut up. And then I went back to this Taylor folder that I have, and I pulled out some pieces from an older set because I love the speech bubbles, and there's even one page in here where it has like arrows and little circles, and these arrows say Jesus. So it's so cool to go through the Old Testament anywhere in the Bible, and you could use these arrows that point us to Jesus and the Spirit. I might pull this in for today's entry in Hebrews also. So she really takes the time to show us in Exodus and Leviticus, when the tabernacle is mentioned, how that ultimately points to Jesus, how we see the gospel in the tabernacle. The gospel and the tabernacle. So good. Anyway, so let me show you the first entry that I did in Exodus, and then we'll go ahead and get started on today's in Hebrews. So I used an assortment of things. I printed this sheet with the Ark of the Covenant on it in clear sticker paper. So I put it over the text, and you can still read what's under there. Granted, I put some more stuff on top, but if you wanted to have it only in the margin, totally doable. And then I just layered pieces that she had in her set, like this striped heart, this little diamond pattern, created a tab, and I jotted down some of my takeaways that I learned going through her devotional content. So this is in Exodus 37, and then we're going to jump forward to Hebrews 10. Oh, perfect. And I'll go ahead and get started. So I had an idea of what I wanted to put on this page. I knew that I wanted to use this large temple veil torn in two on my page. I was only going to use the right half of it, since the verse that I'm journaling is on the right side of my Bible. So I'm just getting these bigger pieces isolated, and then I'll go ahead and start putting things down. So my verse is up towards the top half of the page. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put the curtain here. I really like this phrase, closer than ever, in Taylor's adorable handwriting. Is adorable the right word? Beautiful, really nice. I was kind of pleased that the curtain was shorter, and I was able to include that also. I really want to use these patterned papers. I love patterned papers. They are my favorite craft supply ever. So I'm going to cut random strips of the 3 of the 4 patterns. I'm just cutting relatively the same lengths and different widths of these patterns, cutting them in a way that I get a variety of colors, because what I'm going to do is just stack them one on top of another, and that's going to be the piece that anchors my journaling. So this is what I chose to go with. I'm going to take my tape runner out, but in the meantime, I saw the new confetti devotional kit from Illustrated Faith. I saw the washi tape, and I was like, oh, that would actually match really well with this set. So I don't use it today, but if you have it, pull it on out. It matches great. So what I'm going to do is take the tape runner and just put a little bit of adhesive on each one of these strips and cluster them in a way so that, you know, blue isn't on top of blue, but rather the red is maybe next to the blue or the yellow is next to the pink, so that it just, the color is kind of like moved around. I hope that makes sense. I'm also staggering them a little bit, so it's not just like a big old block of patterned paper. Alright, I think that looks good. I'm going to trim off that piece that's a bit longer, and then I am going to get the curtain stuck down. I think it's going to look good there. I'll put some more adhesive on it to make sure the whole thing sticks down, and then I gotta get this curtain down. This is a really large piece. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you've seen me have some serious mistakes with really big stickers like this. I am so carefully going to put it down, working from the top to the bottom, and even leaving some of that sticker release paper on, and kind of putting it down with my hand as I peel the backing off to make sure there's no air bubbles, my page doesn't fold in half underneath it, things like that that have happened in the past. Then I put those patterned paper strips right on top of there where there's a little break in the text. I'm going to put this closer than ever phrase down on the bottom, and then you can see to the right there I've pulled out some rainbow grid labels from Elaine Davis in colors that coordinate with this kit. I've got some homespun alpha stickers that I'm going to use to build my title, and then I've got that little yes speech bubble hanging off to the left. That's from Taylor's older set called Teach Me. So I'm looking for colors that, one, kind of coordinate with the colors in this devotional kit and that are going to pop off of the curtain there because that's rather dark. So I took a Faber Castell big brush pen in a color that I think it's ultramarine that matches the colors in the kit, in the printables, and I just like customized it. I colored it in, and now I have an alphabet sticker that matches very well. There you go. So I'm just spelling out the phrase draw near because the verse Hebrews 10:19 through 21:22 says, "Therefore, brothers and sisters, since we have confidence to enter the most holy place by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way opened for us through the curtain, that is, his body, and since we have a great priest over the house of God, let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with the full assurance that faith brings, having our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience and having our bodies washed with pure water." So much of that is represented in Leviticus, where we see the priests atoning for our sacrifices, atoning for the Israelites' sin by the sprinkling of blood in the Holy of Holies. So Taylor does an amazing job in her devotional content of pointing us to those verses, asking us questions about them, interacting with the verses, and pointing us to how Jesus fulfills that, just like we see here in Hebrews 10. It is such a value, you guys. I mean, so good. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I read through passages like that, for instance, the super specific specifications of the tabernacle, my eyes kind of glaze over. Well, what Taylor's done here is she shows us how it all points to Jesus and how it's even representative of what's in heaven. It's so good, so good. How many times have I said that? It's because it's so good. So the next thing I'm going to do is take this white Uniball Signo gel pen, and I'm going to outline the alphabet stickers here just so they pop off of this dark blue curtain a little better. So they kind of pop off a little bit at you. It's a little easier to read them. I was messing around with these rainbow grid labels, deciding which colors looked best. I think I'm going to go with the pink and the blue, layer them up, and this is what's going to house my journaling. So I'm going to use this little Yes speech bubble, and I'm going to layer that on top of another rainbow grid label. I'm addicted to these guys, and I'm just going to keep these together with a tiny attacher, staple them together, and then put some roller adhesive on the back end and stick it down. It's a little crooked. I'll fix it in a minute. So the speech bubble is kind of coming out of the verses that I'm journaling here. So I want to block off the text, just indicate what I'm journaling with some messy lines. And I'm going to look to see what's in her Devo that I want to kind of transfer over into my Bible. I had taken some notes and underlined some stuff, and that's going to be what I transfer over. And then I decide to go ahead and put this 4th rainbow grid label on my page. So I'm just going to trim it down and have it hang off of the edge. There's a lot of stuff happening down here, but I kind of like it. So at the beginning of verse 20, it says, "By a new and living way opened for us through the curtain," that is his body, Jesus' body. And that really jumped out at me, a living way. So I wanted to note that up at the top here, and then I'm going to start journaling directly onto these rainbow grid labels. Just indicating here, reminding myself that Jesus was both our priest and the sacrifice, that his sacrifice is both perfect and permanent, and that there is no longer any obstacle to the presence of God, which is awesome. So I've got a little bit of space in between that phrase and the other stuff, so I'm going to use a roller date stamp to get today's date in there. It's the perfect little space for it. I don't remember what sentiment I ended up going with. Oh, blessed. That's for sure. Then what I'm going to do is pull out some puffy crosses and figure out which tab I want to use. So you could like punch the tab out of the patterned paper, or she includes some tabs here at the top of the one page of printable. So I'm going to punch that out with my tab punch, glue it down, then look for some wordfetti to go on the top. I decided to go with the phrase "because Jesus," and I love how it reads from top to bottom. So at the tab it says, "Because Jesus, a new living way, yes, draw near, closer than ever." Isn't that so cool? I mean, not how that works out, but just how amazing Jesus is that this has been like afforded to us now through his sacrifice. I don't think I'll ever get over it. So I'm going to put some white puffy crosses because I had used white ones in the entry that I did in Exodus, and it pops off of this curtain too. I'm going to put 3 or so of those on the page, and then look to some more wordfetti to fill in this kind of empty space in the patterned paper. So I took this wordfetti that said "meet him" in the margin and just cut off the part that says "meet him," and that's going to live right next to that little puffy cross. And that's it. Here is a finished look at my page. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to pick up Taylor's devotional kit, which you totally should, by the way, it's linked down in the video description below so you can snag that for yourselves. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, drawing closer and closer to our Heavenly Father, made possible by Jesus' wonderful sacrifice. See you soon.